Hello, hello, hello. Wow. I'm going to wait just a quick second because I am just like a tad bit early and it has been crazy. Little bit of a crazy day. I wanted to just do a quick update. So I live in Santa Monica. I am pretty close to the fires, but they're not close enough where I needed to evacuate. I'm on the border of where it needed to be evacuated. And I have Amber Alert and I have the news on over there so I can see what's going on. But I figured since I was going to be here, I've got my kitties here and my daughter is here. And so if we need to leave, then I'll just turn everything off and go. But we are here now. I have been up since 2 o'clock in the morning when I first smelled the smoke. But so far, everyone is okay. My parents do live right by the Getty, so they may be coming to visit. I told them that the front door is unlocked. So let's get started. We have a lot going. I am going to start with this new recipe that I've made a couple times, and it's gotten some pretty fabulous reviews. It's a Mocha Cheesecake Pie. So it's got a chocolate cookie crust and it's got a mocha cheesecake and a little chocolate drizzle on top. And it's super easy because you're just making it a pie dish. And we are going to make a casserole for a family friend. We are not going to bake it. I am going to make two. One is going to be for me to bring to them tomorrow. And the other one is going to go into my freezer. And that is a chicken pesto casserole. It is a favorite. And it is super, super easy. But I'm not going to actually bake it tonight because I'm not going to eat it. And I'm going to bring one to a friend. And then I'm going to make a huge pan of roasted vegetables. And I love doing a ton of roasted vegetables at a time because if we don't eat them all, which we will not, they go in the fridge and they are so great added to salads. Especially I have this goat cheese. So I have this salad that I put roasted vegetables and goat cheese on. It's so fantastic. So I am going to start with, let's see if you guys can actually see me. I just want to make sure that I have this all set up correctly. Yes, there you are. There you are. So I already got busy. Let me turn this way just a little bit. I already got busy and I melted 1/4 of a cup of butter in the microwave. And I'm going to add to this a cup of almond flour, 3 tablespoons of my Lakanto monk fruit sweetener. You can use any sweetener that you like. There's a 1/2 cup of almond flour, and there's another 1/2 cup. So that's done. We're going to do 3 tablespoons of Lakanto monk fruit sweetener, any sweetener you like. And you do not have to powder it when it goes into the crust because the crust you want to be a little bit crunchy. And I think I mentioned this to you guys before. Sugar alcohols, after you bake them, they recrystallize. So that's why for the cheesecake part, we're going to powder that. But for this one, we're going to just do 3 tablespoons of granule. So 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to do just so simple. I mean, how many years have you actually had this in your cupboard? So you do 3 tablespoons of this Hershey's chocolate powder. I have the darker chocolate powder, but I just think that this is so much more accessible. Anybody, pretty much in any supermarket, anywhere in the country, there's nothing super special about it. That's 1 tablespoon, that's 2 tablespoons, and that's 3 tablespoons. And we'll just put that off to the side. I'm going to use just the back of a fork. This is super simple. I'll just whisk this all together, and it's going to come together into a nice crumbly crust mixture. And then we're going to pat it into our pie tin. And again, just a simple pie tin. And I think what I love about this Mocha Cheesecake Pie is that I think people get intimidated by making cheesecake, especially when you're making keto cheesecake, because it's a lot of ingredients, and if you screw up, it's an expensive flop. So this is a super easy recipe. It comes together really quickly, and you use only half the amount of ingredients that you would normally use in a regular cheesecake. So I promise you, though, it won't be a flop. I promise. Who's coming to visit me? Hi, Peter, my love. Okay, so I've got so you can see my crumbly mixture. It's got nice and crumbly, and we're just gonna press this right into our pie tin. Now, one of the other things that's kind of cool about this recipe is that I usually pre-bake my pie crust, but this recipe, you don't have to. So you just take your chocolate cookie crust. We're gonna get it in here, and then we're gonna whip together our cream cheese and our sweetener and some eggs and some of our flavorings. And I have a secret flavoring for my mocha cheesecake. This recipe, I believe I have it up on the website. If it's not, then it is almost ready. I already got the pictures taken, and I already have it all written out. This pie I like to cut into 6 slices, and so that not 6 slices, 12 slices, so that each slice is 3 grams net carbs. It's just a sliver of a slice. It's not a huge piece, but just keep that in mind when you're making this and you're slicing it up, because you don't actually have to make the slices so small. But it is nice to have just like a little treat. So I'm just pressing all of this in to my pie tin, and there's no technique here. There's no like pinching the edge or any of that sort of fancy dancy stuff. But this dessert, when it's done, looks super fancy, because you do this like little drizzle on top and you try to get all fancy. Okay, there is my chocolate cookie crust. I'm going to put that just to the side. I already have 16 ounces of cream cheese, and I went to Costco this past weekend to get a bunch of stuff for this dinner party that I was making, and I think I got like a 5-pound thing of cream cheese, and I used all of it already. Hi, Regine! There's my friend from high school. Good to see you. Okay, so I've got my cream cheese. I already powdered. Remember how I did this? I took my coffee grinder and I powder my sweetener. Let's hope I don't drop it. So there is my powdered sweetener. That is 1/3 of a cup of powdered sweetener. I'm going to pop that right in there. I'm going to get this out of the way. And I am going to blend this together to get it nice and smooth. Now, if your cream cheese is not softened, you run the risk of having it be lumpy, and that's never a good thing. So it's really important to get your cream cheese to be at room temperature. Now, a little trick I have is put your cream cheese in the bowl that you're gonna whip it together in, and pop it in the microwave for like 30 seconds at a time, and just get it just up to room temperature. You don't want to cook it, but just get it right up to room temperature. And we're gonna get this nice and whipped. You're gonna die when you see how easy this is. I'm almost actually done. Okay, so that is nice and creamy. I'm gonna show you. See how nice and creamy that is? There are no lumps in that. Okay, we're gonna add the flavoring now. You can get coffee extract at any, hi Rosette. You can get coffee extract. I just get this at the regular supermarket, but you can go online and get this. So we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of coffee extract, and then I'm gonna show you, there is 1, there is 2. Okay, here is my secret ingredient. Do you guys remember when your grandparents used to drink Sanka? So this is the no-name version of Sanka. It is just freeze-dried decaf coffee. And I can never have caffeine at nighttime because it'll just keep me up. So this has, it's decaf and it is freeze-dried. So it has no granular in it. So it'll just melt into the cream cheese. And so we're going to do a teaspoon of the Sanka style coffee. We're going to put that right in there. And then when I beat this all together, the coffee, the Sanka, and the extract give it a nice brown color. So when you're eating it, you feel like you're eating a mocha. And it's so delicious. So we're going to put that together. You know what else I took care of? So I was home all day. I worked from home. I needed to be close for the cats and for my daughter. She had no school. And I already made my rotisserie chicken. So I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's fully done. And you guys, this is coming together so nicely. Very, very easy. And we're going to get it all off of there we go. Yeah. That's some good coffee cheesecake. Okay. I'm going to get that out of the way. We'll clean this up in a second. But that is basically it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cheesecake. Oh, wait. That is not it. I'm such a knucklehead. That's why we're live. I forgot the eggs. Oh my God, I'm such a knucklehead. Well, good news. We didn't make a total blunder. And we're going to put those back together. Yeah, let me just remind everybody that I have been up since 2 o'clock this morning. So if I forget anything, please let me know. Okay, so we need the eggs in the cheesecake to make it rise. Hi, Michael. Okay, so we're going to put the 1 egg at a time. We're going to mix that in there. I cannot believe I almost forgot the egg. I was wondering why I was so thick. It's going to be nice and smooth. We'll get this one in there. So that egg, there we go. I think a couple of people had a taste of my my Mocha Cheesecake Pie. So if you are on with me live here, comment because I know you had it and I know you loved it. I'm not going to out you because I don't want to embarrass you. But this is coming together so nicely. I'm just going to scrape down the edges and get this nice and smooth. Whoops. 1 or 2 more minutes right here. That's the consistency I was looking for. Okay, here we go. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to get this out of the way. Get this out of the way. Put this out of the way. This is what we want the consistency to look like. It's more like a batter. So we're going to just very gently put that right inside our chocolate crust. And so I struggled a little bit about what to call this because one of my girlfriends says, well, the cheesecake part doesn't really taste like mocha. And it's not. The cheesecake part is just coffee. It's the chocolate on the edge with the crust and then the chocolate drizzle. So that's how we kind of came up with the mocha name. You're going to smooth this out. Now, when you're cooking this, do not freak out when you look into the oven and it's nice and puffed because after you take it out of the oven, it will smooth. It'll sort of fall a little bit and get more dense. Okay. Yum. Wow, that has an awesome, awesome, awesome coffee flavor. So there is our mocha cheesecake pie. And I have confirmation. Thank you, Tracy. She and her sons had some of my Mocha Cheesecake Pie, and I think they liked it. Okay, so I'm popping this into we're going to pop this into a 350 degree oven, and we're going to do it for 25 minutes. So 25. And then when that comes out, we're going to let it sit for like 10 minutes, and then we're going to drizzle it with some chocolate, and then we'll pop that in the refrigerator. I love popping things. We're going to put it into the refrigerator for an hour or more, and that'll get a really nice, dense, cheesecakey flavor. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, let me just put a few of these things away so I have some room. And we are done with our almond flour. We're done with our sweetener. We'll do our chocolate chips in a minute. I am going to get the roasted vegetables ready. I've already actually gotten started on this. And quite frankly, this is one of those, like, just dump everything into the roasting pan. I've already peeled my carrots. There's no rhyme or reason to this. I do not measure. I just kind of do what I have in my fridge. And I knew that I was going to be making a big batch of roasted vegetables. So I've got a huge thing of mushrooms, dumping those. I've got a huge thing of broccoli, dumping these. The other thing that you want to just sort of remember with your roasting your vegetables is that you kind of want them all to be, they're not all going to cook at the same rate. Like the mushrooms will cook a little bit faster, but I like mushrooms when they are nice and soft. I'm also going to add like big chunks of onion. I think that it adds so much, and they get nice and caramelized, and they just add some nice flavor to the whole thing. Again, when I'm done with this, I'll probably have a little bit of this for dinner, but I'm really making this so that I can have this. I'm going to put this in our lunches tomorrow, our lunch salads tomorrow, and I love to add goat cheese with this. So there's half of an onion. Once I get all the vegetables in here, I'm going to drizzle it generously with olive oil, salt and pepper, garlic powder, and what was the other thing? Oh, thyme. I love putting thyme into the mix. It gives it sort of like this herby thing. How do I not gain weight? Okay, so here's the question. How do I not gain weight while eating all these desserts? Well, first of all, I follow a ketogenic diet. So everything I make is high fat and low sugar. So all my sugar alcohols, they don't digest the same way, and they don't spike my blood sugar, and they don't make my insulin go through the roof. So that's the number one thing, is that I don't eat, these desserts are not made with flour or sugar. They're made with almond flour, coconut flour, and things that don't raise your blood sugar. So that's the number one thing. The number two thing is that I just don't eat them all the time. I give a lot of it away, and I'm constantly shoving food at other people. But I'll save a little bit here at my house so that we always have a little bit of something. And I'm going to show you some stuff that I have. But I'm really sort of conscious of the fact that I am always baking, and I can't eat this stuff all the time. Because if I do, then what will happen is I will suffer from something called the carb creep. Have you guys heard of this? The carb creep is when you think, oh, I'm just going to have a little bite of this or a little bite of that. And you really you think like, oh, well, this only has one carb in there, or this only has a few carbs in it. But what happens when you do one carb here and one carb there and 3 carbs there and 2 carbs there, then all of a sudden you've eaten like 50 carbs. So I have to be really, really mindful. And I also intermittent fast. So I don't I don't eat my first meal of the day until usually around noon. And I just have black coffee in the morning. So I'm cutting these carrots on a bias. I just think that it gives them a nice look, and I'm trying to make them so that they're not too hunky, if that makes sense. But I hope I answered your question. I have desserts all the time in my house. If I went into my freezer right now, I can tell you that I have chocolate banana popsicles. I have peanut butter bars. I have pumpkin cheesecake pie. What else do I have? Oh, I have my apple crisp. I think that's, oh no, I have a lava cake. I have one lava cake left. So, hi Amy. So I have a lot of this stuff, but I'm very mindful not to be eating it all the time. And when I do, I try to stop at one, because I know that it'll get me into a spiral. So I hope that answers your question. I'm almost done with my veg. This is a huge pot of veg, and I'm going to put these in the oven as soon as the cheesecake is done. We will crank up the heat on the cheesecake. I'm sorry, we'll crank up the heat once the cheesecake is done. And I'm going to pop this in. So I've got my trusty olive oil. I'm going to generously, I'll probably put, this is like a half a cup over my veg. You want all the vegetables to be fully coated, but you don't want them like sitting in a soupy mess of oil. And I'll show you this once I get it all taken care of. Actually, I don't even need that. I'm just going to do this with my hands. I might as well. Only we are going to be eating this. If I was cooking for a crowd, I would not be doing this with my hands. I'm just going to break up some of these bigger pieces of the broccoli. How are we doing on time? Perfect. We've got tons of time, but we'll probably be done pretty early tonight. I've got all of my veg is completely covered. I'm going to generously season with salt, pepper, garlic powder, and thyme. And do not be afraid of adding salt to your things. When you're on a ketogenic diet or a low carb diet, you need the salt. And if you think about all of the, I'm probably going to put 2 tablespoons of salt on here. If you think about, maybe that's like 1.5 tablespoons of salt. I'm going to generously sprinkle. This is garlic powder. If you think of all the salt and preservatives and chemicals that are added to processed boxed foods, and once you take those things out of your entire diet, then you need to add salt back into your diet. Okay, so I got the salt, I got the pepper, I got the garlic powder. Now I'm going to do just some dried thyme. And again, I'm going to be pretty generous with that. Then I'm going to toss all this stuff again. And then we'll put this to the side just for a second, and so I can rearrange some stuff in the oven and get that back in there. So a friend of ours, I'm doing some cooking for them, and they actually kind of live near the fire stuff too, but he has a pretty specific diet, and so I don't always get a chance to cook for them. So tonight I asked her if they would like the chicken pesto casserole. I'm just going to show this to you. Look at that vat of vegetables. Isn't that fun? So I am going to make the chicken pesto casserole for them, but I'm not going to bake it. I'm going to bring it over to them, and they're going to bake it themselves. Ooh, that looks so good. Okay, we're going to let that sit for a second. I'm going to let it do its thing. We'll put because my oven is so small, I can't fit everything all at once. But that's okay. We're going to get busy on the chicken pesto casseroles. And so you guys can see what that looks like. And by the time we get done with those, the cheesecake will be probably done. So I already have 2 pounds of shredded rotisserie chicken. I usually make my own rotisserie chicken, which I did tonight, and I'm going to show you. It's right over there. But I have no shame in going to Costco and getting their rotisserie chicken and pulling it apart like I did here, or they have prepackaged rotisserie chicken. It would not be my first choice. However, if you are in a crunch for time, there is no shame in going with this rotisserie chicken from Costco. So this is 2 pounds of shredded rotisserie chicken. We're going to be putting some cherry tomatoes. This is also another favorite. I get the Costco Pesto, and all the ingredients are right on spot. So I feel really good about this, and you can get this and freeze it if you want. But I use this for my salmon. I use this on my portobello mushrooms. So let's see, what else do I need? The recipe is one of those dump recipes where you dump a bunch of stuff into the bowl. And I'm going to cheat and look at my thing so that I just remember exactly what I'm doing here. Okay, so it is 1.5 cups, 1 cup of sour cream. So we'll go 1. This little thing here is my favorite measuring cup. It's a 1/2 cup, so I don't even mind doing it twice. So there's 1 and there's 2. So that is 1 cup of sour cream. And we're going to do, let's put this off to put the sour cream over there. We're going to do 1 cup of mayonnaise and 1 cup of pesto. So it's kind of like a cuppa. Have you guys ever heard of that artichoke dip? That artichoke dip is called cuppa. And you do, okay, so there's a 1/2 cup. You do a cup of artichoke, a cup of mayonnaise, and a cup of shredded cheese. And then you sprinkle some, garlic powder on that. And then you bake it, and it's the best artichoke dip. I don't know if you guys have ever had that. Okay, so that's a cup of mayonnaise. And then we're going to add a cup of a cup of pesto, which is basil. You guys know what pesto is? It's pine nuts, Parmesan cheese, basil, olive oil, garlic. It's amazing to make this fresh in the summer with, like when you have just mountains and mountains of of basil growing. It's so easy. You just pop it into like a food processor with all your ingredients, and there you go. Okay, so we're going to do a cup of pesto. There's a 1/2. Probably should have used a bigger bowl. My goodness. And there is my other 1/2. Now, this recipe also calls for cherry tomatoes. I like to get the oblong sort of ones. I'm going to show you here in a second. And I like to slice them in half so that their juices. I'm going to put the casseroles in these so that I'm going to keep one in our freezer, and I'm going to take one to them. So I'm going to mix this all together. Let's just clean up. I got a little messy. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe I've been up since 2 o'clock this morning. My goodness. Okay. So I'm just going to toss my chicken in this mixture. We are going to add the little cherry tomatoes. I'm going to slice those in half. We add 2 eggs to this, and the egg acts as a binder so that when you bake this, if you didn't have the binder, it would kind of be sloppy because we don't have any carbs, any noodles, or any of that stuff holding it all together. So we put the eggs in so that it holds it all together. So there is our mixture. I'm going to put 2 eggs. And then we're going to do the cherry tomatoes and mozzarella cheese and Parmesan cheese. Oh, I forgot to get the Parmesan cheese out. Let me get these eggs mixed in here. Our cheesecake has only got 10 more minutes. This is very exciting. I've had this cheesecake now several times, and you know, I like to make a dessert once and then kind of move on to other things after I've perfected it. But this one I've had 3 or 4 times in the last month, and I really, really like it. So there is our mixture now with the egg in there. Let me get my Parmesan cheese. I forgot it. I like to use grated Parmesan cheese for this because it sort of acts as a binder. You know, like when you use breadcrumbs in meatballs or meatloaf or whatever. This the grated Parmesan acts as like a binder for stuff. And I am going to, let me see, where's my thing? Okay. My favorite thing was a little bit messy, so I'm going to do a new. This is a half a cup. So I'm going to do a cup of Parmesan cheese, and then there we go. So there's our Parmesan cheese. Later on, we're going to add mozzarella cheese, but not yet. We're going to add that in the layers. And we're also going to add the cherry tomatoes in the layers. So we will do that. I just want to do a quick check on my Mocha Cheesecake because it just makes me so happy. Oh, it's so pretty. I can't wait to bring it out and show you guys. Okay, I'm going to put this off to the side a little bit. I am going to do 2 cups of cherry tomatoes. That's about a cup. And that's about a cup. So you're going to have to just bear with me here because I'm going to slice these up a little bit. I didn't get a chance to do this. But don't worry, I'll be quick. I'm going to put half in this and half in this. And I'll just layer them in between with, and this is kind of like, you know how when you make lasagna, how you do layers? That's how we're going to do it. We're going to put the mixture in. We're going to add the tomatoes. And then we're going to sprinkle it with some mozzarella cheese. And maybe we'll do a couple, maybe more tomatoes. And get it all nice and happy, mixed together. And I think that the red tomatoes add so much to this recipe because this is it's a little bland looking, but it's not bland on flavor. I can tell you that. It's pretty amazing. And you notice I didn't have to add any salt or pepper to this because Parmesan cheese is already got enough salt in it, and pesto already has enough salt in it. So, you know, once you serve this to your guests, if they decide that they need more salt, then they can add it afterwards. But I don't have any salt added to this recipe because I don't think it needs it. And again, you don't need to do this slicing of the tomatoes. I just like to because I think it gets the juices of the tomatoes flowing a little bit better, and you know, just sort of adds to it gets them nice and soft and gooey into the casserole. So next week, I have already been thinking about what I'm gonna make, and I would love to have some suggestions if you would like. But if you can't think of anything now, you can always let me know. Let me see who's here visiting me. Hi, Tessa. How are you? I haven't seen you since my Richfield days, like 100 years ago. I feel like it was 100 years ago. Okay, I'm going to put half of this in here. Half of this in here. Oh, God, I hope I don't drop this. Please, please, please don't drop this. And let me put the rest of this in here. Oh, they are going to be so happy. It's really nice to just be able to pull a casserole from the freezer, pop it in the oven, 30 minutes. Well, if it's frozen, you have to do it for an hour, but you could pull it out in the morning and just have it nice and thawed out when you get home at the end of the day. Pop it in the oven for like half an hour and 350, and then you're gonna like get it nice and gooey and cheesy and crispy on top. I'm gonna toss these just a tiny bit because I want to get you see how pretty that looks? Doesn't that look nice? They're gonna be so happy to get this. I'm gonna toss the tomatoes just a little bit to get them kind of in here. And then I'm gonna sprinkle mozzarella cheese on top. And these will be ready to go. These are so easy. They're great to batch cook on like a weekend. Okay, so that one's done. And now I'm gonna do this one. You guys, our cheesecake is almost ready. Then we're gonna pop the veg into the oven. And what else can I tell you guys? Oh, by the way, I don't know if Rosette from Rosette's Baked Good is still listening, but everybody died for the pistachio cookies. So Rosette is my Instagram friend, and she's just so cute. She has this great business, and she makes, if you're not a baker, she makes pre-packaged baked goods. Let me see if I can show you. Let's see if I can show you one. Where is it? Oh, here's her chocolate chip cookie mix. There's her chocolate chip cookie mix. So you just add an egg and some butter to this, and you have instant chocolate chip cookies. So check her out. Last week we made pistachio cookies, and everybody loved them. They went so fast. And again, I only had one or two, I think. And then I gave the rest to friends and sent them off. Okay, so we're going to sprinkle just a little bit of mozzarella cheese right on top. Then we'll cover these with foil, and I'm going to freeze one and send one over to a friend's house tomorrow morning. Hopefully they won't be evacuated. And they'll be able to have this for dinner. You know, you just add like a nice salad to this, or, you know, some roasted vegetables, which is what I like to do. And there you go. Okay. Normally I would pop this right into the oven, and I would bake this for, I think it's 30 minutes. Let me just check. What did I say? Yeah, 25 minutes at 400 degrees, and then you might want to just do a little broil on top to get it nice and crispy. I'm going to put these off to the side, and I am going to show you now. Every single week, or almost every single week, I make my rotisserie chicken. And whenever I've made it with you guys, it's been too hot for me to handle, so you haven't been able to see it. But today, I was prepared. And I pulled it together so that I can show you what my rotisserie chicken looks like every week. Get that out of the way, get that out of the way. And I pull my rotisserie chicken out. This was 5 pounds of rotisserie chicken that with the bone on and skin on. And then I do this in my Instant Pot. I kind of like set it and forget it. And then the cool thing is that when it's all done, I have a quart of homemade chicken stock right there. And I didn't even have to really like think about that. So that is another bonus of doing your own rotisserie chicken. I know everybody doesn't always have the time or thinks that they're not really up to it. Maybe they feel like the Instant Pot is a little bit scary, but it's not, I promise you. So here is what one of my chicken breasts looks like. One of my rotisserie chicken breasts looks like. So I basically just pull the skin off, super easy, and then the bones just fall out. It's so easy. I would say 99% of the time I get all the bones. Occasionally Peter will find, sorry, Peter. Occasionally he will find an extra bone, but all of my bones, all of my cartilage, all my skin, all the sort of yucky stuff I've pulled out of my rotisserie chicken. So now I have a breast of rotisserie chicken. And I hope I don't drop any of this on the floor, but look at my rotisserie chicken. I just pull this apart and I can put this in salads. I can add this to soups. I can make casseroles with it. I make that pesto casserole with this. You guys, guess what? Yay, our cheesecake is done. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, let me get this stuff out of the way. And then I'm going to show you my cheesecake. So exciting. I lied. I need 5 more minutes. Sorry. I don't want it to be too jiggly. We're just going to let it do its thing for 5 more minutes while I'm doing my chicken. So I love being able to multitask in the kitchen because I'm already doing this chicken anyways, and I have an extra little 5 minutes to take care of all this sort of stuff. I haven't had a chance to mention to you guys my whole life challenge. We are well into our whole life challenge. This is a challenge where we take a look at 7 different areas every single day. We have to stretch 5 minutes. We have to exercise at least 10 minutes. We have to eat keto-friendly or whole foods. There's my second breast of chicken. And I'm so proud of our team. We have 13 or 14 people on our team. We're from all over the world, and everybody is just coming together and just trying to do a little bit better. You have to sleep, drink water. I mean, these things seem like such basic things, but it's really like hard to do everything for yourself. You know, like other things always end up taking priority. And that's where I sort of get into like problems. Okay, so there's number 3, and here's our last rotisserie little chicken breast. It's actually a massive chicken breast. And so this chicken that I am pulling apart right now, half of it is going to be made as chicken salad. I'll add mayonnaise, celery, scallions, generous amount of black pepper, and if I have it, I love to add curly parsley to my chicken salad. It just adds a little, I don't know, I don't know, it just is a little extra. And I like to do stuff like that. Okay, so this is all the bones and the skin left over. And I'm just going to toss these because I don't need them or want them. And then there is all of my rotisserie chicken. And I'm just going to pull it all apart. Big chunks. I love that. Sometimes I chop it, but I like it big chunks of chicken. And after we're done here, I will pull half of it out, make my salad, and then put the other half. I might even put it in the freezer. Later on this week, I'm kind of getting into soup season. And I have, I had a Costco run on Saturday. So I have like this ginormous bag of carrots. And I don't really eat carrots too often. But I have a fabulous carrot feta soup. So I'm going to be making that a little bit later on this week. And we'll take care of that. Okay, so there is my chicken. As soon as the cheesecake comes out of the oven, I'm just going to close that drawer. As soon as the cheesecake comes out of the oven, I'm going to crank up the heat to 400. I'm going to pop my veg in. And the vegetables probably will take like half an hour. Normally, I would do all these things sort of at once. I would have done the vegetables and the casserole all at once. But in the interest of showing all of you guys how I make this Mocha Cheesecake Pie, I decided to make that first, and I can't fit this pan in the oven at the same time as that. So this one's almost done. I've got another minute on that, and that's gonna, when I bring it out, you're gonna just flip at how fluffy, and, but then it'll slowly fall. Okay, very quickly, I wanted to show you my chicken broth. So I buy these containers from Smart and Final, and I get like this huge stack of them. They are recyclable, but they are not microwavable. So I like to get my container from Smart and Final, and this is my chicken stock that I just did my rotisserie chicken in, and I just pour it very gently through the sieve so I don't get any of the pieces or any of the chunks, and I will get just about, maybe even more. Ooh, did I do it perfect? I get a perfect quart. Look at that. That's like liquid gold right there. That's amazing. That chicken stock, I'm going to let that cool. I'll put a lid on that. I'll label it. I'll pop that in my freezer. Guess what that is? That is our cheesecake pie. Let's get that baby. So beautiful. Okay. Pulling it out. So I want you to notice, do you see how fluffy it is? See how fluffy my cheesecake pie is? I'm going to let that sit here for a few minutes. That is going to settle down. Once I settle that baby down, I'm going to drizzle it with just a very, very light drizzle of melted chocolate. So veg is going in the oven. You will not be here for the finished product of this, but you've seen how I make this, and this probably takes about 40 minutes at 400 degrees. And that's okay that that's going to be later, because I'm just going to kind of nibble on that for later, for, you know, like, I have a bunch of leftovers. I had a dinner party with, I think we had 10 or 12 people here on Saturday night, so I was cooking all day Saturday, and it was fabulous. We had a wonderful time, and then Sunday I had another dinner party for my mom, and it was her birthday. So a lot of cooking and a lot of eating, and quite frankly, I'm not even really that hungry, and my fridge is just stuffed with things. Remember last week when I made the beef chili? Well, I made huge amounts of beef chili because we were supposed to have this big party last Thursday night, and it got canceled. So my freezer is stuffed with chili, and I'm just going to show you what else I have in here. So this recipe is going up on the website. I just finished taking the pictures. Oh, that's not a good. I'm going to show you a pretty version of it. This is a pumpkin. So you know I made the Mocha Cheesecake Pie. I made a pumpkin cheesecake pie. And I am not a fan at all of pumpkin pie, but I really like pumpkin flavored things. So I came up with this pumpkin cheesecake pie, and it's a winner. It's really good, and it's just as easy as the Mocha Cheesecake Pie. So this is my pumpkin swirl cheesecake pie. You put a little fresh dollop of whipped cream on that. It was very, very, very popular. I also have leftover, I think I made these for you guys one time. I'm just waiting for this to cool down a little bit, and then I'm going to drizzle it for you. So this is my lava cakes. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? There you go. There's my lava cake. So these are great because you can put them in the freezer, and then when you're ready to eat them, you just pull them out and you put them in the microwave for like 30-second increments because you don't want to burn it. You put them in for 30-second increments, and then it gets nice and like gooey and like lava cake. And then again, you put some whipped cream on top of there. And then the last thing I wanted to show you guys was these are getting rave reviews. And I think I talked about them last time I made them, but these are my peanut butter bars. And this recipe is going up on the website too. So these are made with kind of an interesting ingredient. I talked about it last week. It's my peanut butter powder. And it's just dry peanut butter. This is called Naked PB. In the recipe, there's a link for this. And I don't want you to get any other stuff unless you really look at the ingredients, because a lot of them add sugar to their peanut butter powder because they pull the fat out and it creates a, creates a powder. And this brand is only peanuts. They have defatted the peanuts, and then you add back in a little bit of real peanut butter, my favorite Laura Scudder's peanut butter, and some butter and some sweetener. And these peanut butter bars are to die for. They're really, really good. And these I can't keep in my house because we will all eat them. And then the last thing I'm going to show you before I get busy on my cheesecake here, I'm going to do the final touches on that. Do you guys remember when I was on a little kick? Maybe not. This summer, I was in a huge popsicle kick, like fudgesicles, popsicles, and I had like 15 different flavors. And I was doing tons of fun things. And I have all these great molds. I don't know if you can see them. They're over there. But the molds they're really beautiful, and they take really beautiful pictures, but they're really hard to get the actual popsicle out of the mix, out of the molds. And, you don't want to buy molds special if you're just going to make popsicles occasionally. I have them because I make popsicles all the time. But I love this idea because you basically just go to CVS and you get these little Dixie cups, and these are like 2.5 ounces, little paper Dixie cup. You can get these at CVS, and you can get these little popsicle sticks at CVS in the arts and crafts section. And then you keep them in your Ziploc bag in the freezer, because you don't want them to pick up the flavors of the other stuff. And so I just do a little snip with my scissors, and you just basically tear this off. There is your popsicle. So this flavor is chocolate banana. So good. And it's basically just my fudgesicle, but I went and I ordered some banana extract from the just online. And so I have strawberry extract, I have root beer extract, I have banana, coconut, pineapple. I have tons of different extracts that I can add. I can make banana muffins with my banana extract and not add any carbs or sugar to that. So I just wanted to show you a couple of things that I have in my freezer. I'm going to just very quickly pull together. I have 1 ounce of chocolate chips. These are Lily's semi-sweet chocolate chips. Now, Lily's has some new versions of their chocolate chips. They've got dark chocolate chips, and they've got semi-sweet chocolate chips. Semi-sweet are harder to find. They're not yet available on Amazon, but they are available on Lily's website, LILYS.com, or it's lilysweets.com. Anyways, the semi-sweet has no carbs in them because the erythritol and the fiber cancel out the carbs. So anyways, I'm going to just pop these in the microwave. I'll do that for 30 seconds. I added a little bit of olive oil to the chocolate chips. You can add a little bit of butter, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of coconut oil. You just want a lubricant on your chocolate chips so that they don't burn. So I'm going to put those in there for 30 seconds, and then I'll mix them up, and then I'll do it for another 30 seconds. And then as soon as I'm done with that, we are going to drizzle it really beautifully on top of our cheesecake here. Where did my spoon go? I'll just get a new one. So I'm just going to mix it. Oh, this is beautiful. So maybe just another 30 seconds more. We'll do that. I haven't gotten any Amber Alerts, so that is, or not Amber Alerts, but, emergency alerts for the fire. So that is very good news. We're kind of bracing for through the night because we don't know if the winds are going to pick up. But if they are, I don't know if you can see behind. I know it doesn't look so pretty back there, but those are my cat carriers, cat food, my important documents, and a few other things that we have. Piper packed up a bunch of water bottles, and we have a bunch of stuff. We have places to go. You don't need to worry about us. But we are ready if we need to go, and let's hope that we don't. We have lots of friends that have been evacuated. We do know that I think 5 homes have been, I'm just going to add a little bit more olive oil to this, and I'm going to give it one more few seconds because I want to be able to drizzle it over the cheesecake. While it's doing that, I have one more thing I wanted to share with you. So it's been kind of interesting, and I hope that anyone who has questions or wants to start a low-carb or ketogenic diet, please reach out to me. I would love to help. I don't take on one-on-one coaching, but in the last 3 or 4 weeks, I have had 2 or 3 people who are close friends that have reached out to me sort of like quietly and privately so that I can coach them through. There is a lot of information on the internet, and it can be very, very overwhelming. Dr. Tro, who is Rosette's husband, Dr. Tro, T-R-O, Dr. Kalajian, and Dr. Brian Lenskis, they both have websites where they can medically help you with a keto diet. But for me, if you just would like to get started eating real food, please reach out to me and let me know how I can help you. I have a girlfriend who started, she's been on it for 3 weeks. She has lost 15 pounds. It's every day she texts me and she was like, how is this possible that I can eat all this fat and still lose weight? And I'm like, it's the opposite of what we've always been taught. So please feel free to reach out, send me an email. If you know me personally and have my cell phone number, I will try and get back to you. So I'm just going to do a quick drizzle of my chocolate on top of this mocha pie. Oh my God, this looks so beautiful. My chocolate is a little bit thicker than I would like it to be, but that's okay because it's going to harden up when I put it into the fridge, and it is a showstopper. You could make this for a holiday dessert. Nobody would even know that it is made with erythritol and almond flour. If you have any friends that are gluten-free, anything I make, it's all gluten-free. So, if somebody says, oh, I'm just going to try to go gluten-free, well, they can have all the keto stuff too. So there is our Mocha Cheesecake Pie. It still is pretty warm. I'm going to let it cool just a little bit longer, and then this is going to go into the fridge for at least an hour, but definitely overnight. My chili party got pushed to next week, so they're probably going to get some of this. I hope you guys learned something. I hope that this was entertaining. I'm so sorry that I didn't drop anything because I know that that's always super entertaining. Thank you for joining me here on the Kellie Kitchen. Subscribe on my YouTube channel, or come back and visit me on Facebook Live for some food, some health, and some fun. And thanks again for joining. I love you guys. Bye.